If you're over 60 and you take a daily multivitamin, you might actually be wasting your money. Here's why. Most multivitamins contain very small amounts of the one nutrient that over 40% of Americans over the age of 60 are severely deficient in. And that deficiency has been linked to weakened bones, a higher risk of heart disease, cognitive decline, and even a shorter lifespan. And the worst part? Most people have absolutely no idea they're deficient because the symptoms develop slowly, over months, sometimes years, before they become obvious. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what this nutrient is, why it's so critical after 60, what the research actually says, how to know if you're deficient, and the right way to supplement it so your body actually absorbs it. Stay with me, because the last point about absorption is something most people get completely wrong, and it could be the reason you're not feeling the benefits, even if you're already taking it. By the end of this video, you'll know the single most important supplement for people over 60 based on current medical research, the correct dosage, what to take it with, and a simple way to test whether you actually need it. Before spending a single dollar, this is not medical advice. Always speak with your doctor before starting any supplement. But what I'm about to share is backed by decades of peer-reviewed research, and it might be the most important health conversation you have this year. The supplement is vitamin D, specifically vitamin D3. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. I've heard about vitamin D before, but here's what most people don't know about how dramatically vitamin D deficiency changes after the age of 60. When we're young, our skin produces vitamin D naturally when exposed to sunlight. It's an elegant system, but as we age, that process becomes significantly less efficient. According to research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, adults over 65 produce 4 times less vitamin D from the same amount of sun exposure as a 25-year-old. 4 times less. And if you live above the 37th parallel, which includes cities like Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, and essentially all of the United Kingdom and Canada, you're getting almost no usable sunlight for vitamin D production between October and March. Now combine that with the fact that very few foods naturally contain significant amounts of vitamin D. Fatty fish like salmon and mackerel have some. Egg yolks have a little. Fortified milk has a small amount, but the truth is, it is almost impossible to get sufficient vitamin D from diet alone after the age of 60. The result? The National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey found that approximately 41% of American adults are vitamin D deficient. Among adults over 60, that number is estimated to be even higher. So, what does vitamin D actually do in your body? And why does it matter so much after 60? The first benefit is bone strength. This is the most well-known role of vitamin D, and it becomes especially critical after 60. Vitamin D helps your intestines absorb calcium from food. Without enough vitamin D, your body cannot absorb calcium properly, no matter how much calcium you consume. A comprehensive review published in the New England Journal of Medicine found that vitamin D supplementation reduced the risk of hip fractures in older adults by up to 30%. For people over 60, a hip fracture is not just painful, it can be genuinely life-altering. Studies show that up to 20% of older adults who suffer a hip fracture do not survive the following year. That's how serious bone health is at this stage of life. The second benefit is heart health. Vitamin D receptors are found in heart tissue and the walls of your blood vessels. Research from Harvard Medical School suggests that people with low vitamin D levels have a significantly higher risk of heart attack, stroke, and heart failure. A major study called the VITAL trial, which followed over 25,000 participants, found that vitamin D3 supplementation reduced the risk of heart attack in people who were not overweight by approximately 28%. The third benefit is brain health and mood. This is one of the more surprising findings of recent research. Vitamin D receptors are found throughout the brain, and low vitamin D levels have been associated with a higher risk of depression, cognitive decline, and dementia. A 2023 study published in the journal Neurology found that vitamin D supplementation was associated with 40% fewer dementia diagnoses over a 10-year period among adults who were not already showing significant cognitive decline. 40%. That is a remarkable number, and it's one that every person over 60 deserves to know. The fourth benefit is immune system function. After 60, the immune system naturally becomes less robust. Vitamin D plays a central role in activating the immune cells that fight off infections and regulate inflammation. Low vitamin D has been linked to higher rates of respiratory infections, slower recovery from illness, and elevated inflammatory markers, which are connected to nearly every chronic disease that affects older adults. Now, what's the right dose? And what are you likely getting wrong with absorption? This is where most people make a critical mistake. The official recommended daily allowance for vitamin D for adults over 70 is 800 IU per day. But many researchers and physicians believe this number is too low, especially for people who are already deficient. Dr. Michael Holick, one of the world's leading experts on vitamin D at Boston University School of Medicine, recommends that adults over 60 aim for 1,500 to 2,000 IU per day. But he also advises that you get your blood levels tested first, because some people need more and a few need less. The blood test you want is called a 25-hydroxyvitamin D test, also called a 25-OHD test. You can ask your doctor for this at your next appointment. The optimal range for most adults is between 40 and 60 nanograms per milliliter. Below 20 is considered deficient. Between 20 and 30 is considered insufficient. Now, here is the absorption mistake that almost everyone makes. Vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin. That means your body can only absorb it properly when it's consumed with dietary fat. If you take your vitamin D capsule first thing in the morning on an empty stomach or with just a cup of coffee, you may be absorbing as little as half of what's actually in that capsule. Take vitamin D with your largest meal of the day, the meal that contains the most fat, whether that's olive oil, avocado, eggs, nuts, or meat. This one simple change can increase your absorption by up to 50%. Same pill, dramatically better results, just by timing it differently. And one more thing about vitamin D that almost nobody tells you. If you're taking vitamin D3, consider pairing it with vitamin K2. Here's why. Vitamin D helps your body absorb calcium, which is great. But you also need vitamin K2 to direct that calcium into your bones and teeth, rather than into your arteries and soft tissue. Several studies suggest that vitamin D and vitamin K2 work synergistically, and that taking D3 without K2 over long periods may increase calcium buildup in the arteries, which is the opposite of what you want. The good news is that many vitamin D supplements now come combined with K2 in a single capsule. Look for a D3 and K2 combination with at least 100 micrograms of MK7. That's the most bioavailable form of K2. You'll find these easily at any pharmacy or on Amazon, and they're usually very affordable. Let's bring this all together. After 60, your skin produces 4 times less vitamin D from sunlight. Most diets don't provide nearly enough. Over 40% of older adults are deficient. And that deficiency is silently connected to weaker bones, higher heart attack risk, cognitive decline, and a weakened immune system. The solution is straightforward. Ask your doctor to test your 25-OHD levels at your next appointment. If you're deficient, discuss supplementing with 1,500 to 2,000 IU of vitamin D3 per day, combined with at least 100 micrograms of vitamin K2 as MK7, and take it with your largest meal of the day, not on an empty stomach. It's a simple change, but for many people over 60, it may be one of the most important health decisions you make this year. If this video was helpful, please subscribe to Vital After 60. We publish new videos every week on the most important health topics for people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. And if you have a question or a health topic you'd like us to cover, leave it in the comments below. We read every single one. Take care of yourself. You deserve to feel strong, clear, and vital every single day.